Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Reach Talk. I am one of your hosts, Ebony White, Community Health Outreach Coordinator right here in the city of Buffalo at Reach Buffalo and the African American Health Equity Task Force. And of course, I am joined by my dapper co-host, Stan the Man Martin of Chickatelli and Associates, whom is the lead for the Reach Buffalo project here. We are missing Samantha nephew. We hope she is well, and we look forward to us all being back together. I've missed you all. So we always start our show off with talking about what REACH is all about. REACH is racial and ethical approaches to community health, addressing health disparities in our community one area at a time, but we're doing it together. So I'm going to pass on over to Stan the Man Martin to give you all of the the background about what we do.
Right. Thank you, Ebony. It's so great to see you again, and welcome back. The folks been asking for you, like, "Where's Ebony? Where's Ebony?" So she's back, y'all. So, but yeah, thank you. Just now for our listeners, our folks that are out there, and I don't want to say radio land, but like out there.
Right.
Reach has been very active in terms of increasing access to food and nutrition, and also educating the community on the importance of breastfeeding. Which is, in my opinion, something that is greatly needed, and we don't sometimes talk about as much as we should. In addition, I know, Ebony, you've been working a lot in this space in terms of also improving our relationships with physicians and healthcare providers. So we're really trying to strengthen our relationships with providing community clinical linkages to quality services, which is important, to dispel some of the myths and stigmas that's out there between Black and Brown communities and providers. And, really looking at something that has been embedded in our culture, that is, tobacco. How do we prevent the initiation of tobacco use? How do we prevent the exploitation of something we're going to probably talk about later on, of African Americans and the Black community by the tobacco industry, and promoting their deadly product when used as intended will kill you. So those are just some of the initiatives that we're working on. And, we would be, negligent if I did not mention, increasing and educating folks on the importance of, vaccination, getting your COVID shot or getting your flu shot, so we're certainly working to meet everyone where they're at. And also we want people to have accurate information so that they can make a informed decision for their families, for their children, for their friends, for their community. So that's REACH in a nutshell.
Listen, come on, that's a lot. So we got a lot going on. So today, I think we've done a really good job of every show since we began to air, just really spending some time highlighting, bringing in guests to kind of talk about our experts. We have experts with us, come to just really inform us about the areas that Stan spoke about. But today we're going to kind of dive in a little bit more on diabetes and self-management. Diabetes is personal to me. I live with diabetes. So, I'm excited about informing people about the risk, the prevention of diabetes, but really that diabetes is not it's not a death sentence. It doesn't have to be. And you have to be empowered and motivated to care for yourself. I think we spend a lot of time we get a lot of advertisement about medication, seeing doctors, and those things, those are important maintenance, but it's very important for you to know what your body needs. So we're going to spend a little time today just talking about that. So Stan, you did mention about diabetes programming. We actually last year started doing YouTube videos. If you have not went to Reach Buffalo on YouTube, I need you to go there. I need you to share it with your friends and family. And these videos are so cute. I mean, they're cute. I mean, I just love the interpretation. I just love the infographics of it all. I think I'm going to ask our background engineer if she could just show you a quick snippet of these videos, because you'll find a lot of information in a little bit of time, if possible.
Mm-hmm.
Diabetes is a health condition that occurs when your blood glucose, also called sugar, is too high. Blood glucose gives your body energy and comes from the food you eat. When your blood glucose goes up, it signals the body to release insulin, which helps your body use blood glucose as energy. If you have diabetes, the body does not make enough insulin or does not use it correctly. The body cannot properly process food for use as energy, and too much blood glucose stays in the blood. This can lead to a number of serious health problems like heart disease, stroke, kidney disease, eye problems, and dental disease. There are different types of diabetes. With type 1 diabetes, the immune system attacks and destroys the cells in your pancreas, which stops the body from making insulin. It is typically diagnosed at a younger age. Type 2 diabetes is more common. With this condition, the body does not make or use insulin well. Often called a lifestyle disease, it can be prevented or delayed with healthy lifestyle choices. It can develop at any age.
Thank you so much. Now listen, just in that little bit of time, you learned about what diabetes is. And I appreciate that we called it sugar, right? Okay, so many of our community members refer to diabetes as you have the sugars. So one of the things that it talked about the different types of diabetes. Type 1 being juvenile diabetes that is generally developed at a younger age. Type 2, which they refer to as a lifestyle diagnosis. So whether high carbohydrates, sedentary lifestyle. Now there's some things that we have that are we're predisposed to in historically in our healthcare history. But however, in my case, it was lifestyle, right? I wasn't like, when I say sedentary, I'm not saying, hey, I was just sitting down, but my diet really wasn't that great. My exercise, what was exercise? Exercise to me was just going to work. And I thought that was enough, and it wasn't enough. And then there's also gestational diabetes that some women experience, and they have large, and I experienced that. So those were my warning signs probably 15 years ago that I didn't heed to. So I'm going to just kind of take it to Stan, and you can kind of like share, you know, how you feel about diabetes, or, you know, like, what do you know? Like at this point, like around diabetes and how important it is to really try to manage it.
Right. Thank you, Ebony. Thank you for sharing, your personal story, and also, just recognizing that, it is a part of it is a lifestyle change as well. Not just a genetical predisposition, so to speak. And that was, my case, in terms of, my mom and my dad. Well, my dad had diabetes, and my mom was pre-diabetes, so to speak, and myself as well. So understanding the fact that what can we do in terms of making lifestyle changes, in terms of looking at our diet, the different foods that we consume, our consumption, and then also you mentioned, like, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, or what have you, the physical activity, and that how that can help you to manage, I want to say can help you to manage, diabetes if you're predisposed, or if you're diagnosed with it. And also, one of the things I like to talk about, Ebony, is not just the changes at the individual level that we can make, that's very important, but also the changes in our community, the changes in our environment. So, Reach has been very active in terms of trying to increase physical activity, to encourage physical activity. We have a lot of beautiful parks, in our community here in Black Buffalo, I want to say, that
Right.
are oftentimes, underutilized. And then also, when you think about just walking to the store or walking to the corner store, you
Oh,
know,
yes.
once again, that access to healthier food and nutrition. At least you might choose the Twinkies over,
right.
over something else, but do you have access to it?
Right.
Make sure it's not spoiled or or what have you.
Right. Oh my gosh.
That's a whole nother issue, right?
Yeah. So when you mentioned about physical activity, so I've been living with this disease for over a decade. And I remember I was doing a presentation at the university, and we were talking about diabetes. And they said, well, in physical activity, you should jog and you should run. And I said, well, typically in my community, when we see someone running, you're saying, who's chasing you?
Right. How about that?
Right. And they looked at me and they said, what do you mean? It's just not something that's common. Our sidewalks sometimes aren't the best. Our lighting sometimes is not the best.
Right.
So those were some things that I had to make some modifications in my own home. So first things that I did, so some people say, I don't have money for a gym membership. I don't have the ability to go get a trainer. If you have any technology, your phone, YouTube has a plethora of workout videos, beginnings to advanced, right? But I also talk about, and we'll talk about a little later in class, these peer leader classes that I have the ability to, I've had the pleasure really to lead, is using what's at home. If you have stairs,
right,
being able to go up and down your stairs for 10 minutes, commercial time, grabbing a couple of canned goods, you got some canned corn, you got some carrots, and getting moving. Some people don't even give themselves credit for any physical activity. If you have to go to a lower level to go wash your laundry, going up and down the stairs, that is physical activity. But I think when often people talk about exercise, they're thinking about that intensity of being on a treadmill and they got the cute outfit. I'm not mad at you. I love the cute outfits and, the bags.
When I go to the gym, I'm just putting it on. Whatever that's
right. I love the cute outfits. I love all of that. That's cool. But we have to use what we have in our house. Just doing something like taking a kitchen chair and doing squats, or standing, or getting back to the good old fashioned do a push-up. Okay, you may not get on the floor, but guess what? You can use the wall. There's so many things that you can do and leaning to, to get that resistance that you need. There's stretch bands and all of those things that are reasonably priced, but I really just try to encourage people to be very intentional. So when we start talking about community changing, so we have some great initiatives in our community around healthier options in our stores. That would be, I'll give a shout out to Healthy Corner Store Initiative. They have done a tremendous job bringing in, working with the Blue Fund, bringing in freezers with pre-packed healthy meals, healthy options, having fruits and veggies in our local corner stores. There's a total of 12. Stop by, see them. I want you to make your way. And we really have worked to kind of let the healthy things be what you see first before you get to all the other stuff. Now, that's phenomenal. Reach has been really good. They've donated so much this summer. If you went to a farmer's market, we were there donating fresh fruits and veggies, and even, oh my goodness, there's a farmer's market. It's actually, we have a lot of city-based farms in our community that they have really supported and championed for us to have access to fresh fruits and veggies. So it's not that we don't eat fresh fruits and veggies, it's what we mix them with. The flavor, right? I think, in good portion, it's okay. So as we're embarking on our festivities, first thing that I did, Stan, you're going to laugh, was the introduction to my family that, hey, I needed to make some changes about my food. Was typically Thanksgiving was always, you would either have your greens, your cabbage, which is fine. I had asparagus, right? And, the greens and cabbage would have like turkey necks and all that stuff, right? So I had asparagus on my Thanksgiving table. And they looked at me and said, lost your mind. They were furious. But I had to take that because I needed them to understand that it was not just me living with diabetes, but there were others, that there were different options. So that first introduction of that asparagus instead of those turkey necks being in that cabbage. The greens was the pathway to healthier choices in our meals thereafter. My family is pretty big, but now we take responsibility that so and so can't eat that potato salad because their sugar gonna go sky high. I'm using their terms, but they always have a green salad available. They always try to have some fresh fruit available. And I really talk to them about not having big plates.
Right, portion size.
Smaller plates. It's those little things so they don't feel left out. My family, my aunt makes about 25 pies, sweet potato pies. Oh Lord. Woo. But what she started doing for us, making small little ones, small ones. That gesture of intentionality means so much because for many years I would go to our Sunday dinners and they would say, "Oh man, she's asleep." No, I'm passed out. Like it's not even like I gradually went to sleep. I passed out because I did not want to share the impact that this had on me. Then I started not going because I couldn't engage the way I had always engaged. And I get emotionally because that was something I had to do. I couldn't go because they would take it as an insult when I wouldn't eat.
Right.
Why won't you eat? I can't because I didn't want to tell because honestly, I was pretty young, being diagnosed with diabetes and having a pretty strenuous medication adherence. Like it was pretty intense. Insulin and oral medication. So that was a lot. And you didn't want to let anybody see your little bag with all your little equipment. Right. So I just didn't go. So what I try to encourage people that there are people around you that may tell you, but give them some healthy options, right? Give them some choices that they don't fall into not wanting to engage because someone is looking at them or picking on them or talking about, oh, you too good to eat this or you too good to do that. When they really don't understand, your life is depending on developing new disciplines. Mm-hmm. So, because I did it probably for like 3-4 years. I literally would not go. Sundays, I could not go. I was like, I can't see the dressing. I can't see the fried chicken, the ribs. And I couldn't do it because I didn't have the strength or the discipline to be in that space and not indulge. But then I was out like a light because it was uncontrolled. Mm-hmm. People talk about, I expressed to people, I walked around every day with numbers as high as 400 to 500. I could have died. Every day, unknowing, just going about, but it literally took about a year to get my body stabilized to function. But I didn't know. I lost my sight for a period of time because it was so poorly uncontrolled. Now, we're looking at me. I'm not 70. I'm not 80. I could not see. Right. Imagine getting in your car and you can't see. It's dangerous. And we're being diagnosed younger. But I want to, if you are living with diabetes, I want to make sure you have the supports to care for yourself with diabetes. But I really want to prevent it from happening.
Right.
I want to prevent it from happening. So that's why diabetes prevention programs that are available in our community, I know they have some commitment, but the commitment and the outcomes for you are much better than the risk of living with diabetes and trying to manage it. All right. That was my testimony, you all.
Yes, thank you. Wait, drop the mic. Thank you.
That was my testimony to you.
I'm saying, look, I'm leaning in, appreciate you sharing your testimony, sharing your truths, with us, Ebony, because that, reminds us to do our own self-reflection, our own, modifications, in terms of where we are, with eating to live, not living to eat, so to speak. And, what we can do, to take control and to manage that. And also dealing with sometimes the stigma that comes along not just from society, but within our own home, our own space, dealing with that. So I appreciate you, sharing your story, your truth with us, because what Reach is all about is reaching out. Reaching out, sharing information, sharing knowledge, so that people in our community, can make a informed decision, about their lifestyle, and living the life of being healthy and being well. And I think that's ultimately what it's all about. I think that we're going to be dropping some information, posting some information on the website soon. If people want to find out more about or see some more of the videos, about diabetes management, I think we're going to be making that information available. And in terms of if people wanted to find out more information about it, you want to share how they might be able to contact you or some other resources, in this subject matter in this area.
So, as I mentioned earlier on, please go to Reach Buffalo on YouTube. You can find all of the YouTube pages and information. Also, you can reach me. I still use a telephone too, right? So my number is 716-268-2954. You can reach me by phone, right? If you're interested, you're looking for additional resources, or feel free if you send an email to Stan the Man Martin, which is smartin at chickatellicai.org. Again, we'll make sure all those are on the website at DAPtv, where you can find all of our info of how to contact each and every one of us. But there are some phenomenal classes. When you see them come up, join one. They're offering classes to you in person, virtually, and telephonically. Okay, so we love to talk on the phone, right? You can talk on the phone and be educated about how to manage your diabetes or help someone else. It's important to have an accountability partner and a support partner. Those people are important to you. In my case, my colleagues were my support partners. They would look at me and notice something doesn't look right about Ebony today. Or, Ebony, are you feeling well? And I would be trying to hide it, but they knew me. So when they went out to buy lunch, they would always say, hey, Ebony, what about this? And they also introduced me to things I probably never would have been introduced to. So it's important to grow your circle, right? Get you a big circle, right? That because that circle has all of the resources that you need. And that's really that sense of community. Our community has a huge circle of resources. You don't have to be in a box. You have to get into the circle. Everything that you need is here in our community, available to you. Stan, we also touched on, those videos talked about how living with diabetes and also the other things that come with diabetes. So there's lifestyle, so tobacco. Most people recognize Reach around tobacco education. When you have diabetes and then you add smoking and you add poor nutrition, boy, oh boy, the complications, the complexity of it is tremendous. So a lot of people who have that complexity have all of these different providers to help them manage that one person that's living with diabetes. So I want to really get a segue to Stan to kind of just really talk about diabetes and how having the behavior or the addiction, if you will, to tobacco impacts it. You take it away, Stan.
Sure. Thank you, Ebony. And yeah, for our listeners, I always like to say when I have this conversation, Reach and the work that we do, my colleagues and I, we're not against smokers. We're not against those who use tobacco. However, we are, against the tobacco industry, as I mentioned earlier, targeting, and I'm saying targeting intentionally, targeting, the African American or those who identify with the Black diaspora, the community, with the deadly product when used as intended will kill you. Tobacco alone, worldwide, well, not worldwide, but in the U.S., kills over 400,000 Americans, all right, each year, right? But when we look at the Black community in particular, all right, 45,000 African Americans or Black people die each year as a result of tobacco use. And in concert with that, when our conversation surrounding diabetes, what tobacco does or smoking does, all right, it creates poor circulation in the body, blood flow, all right, to your arms, to your legs, and other bodily functions. So what we're seeing in our community is amputations, you know, that could be attributed, to tobacco use and diabetes. So when you go see for those who might have a podiatrist or foot doctor or what have you, and you know what I'm talking about when they're saying that, or we hope that they're saying, one of the things that do you smoke, you know, and if you do smoke, one of the things that they encourage you to do is to quit or to cut down, towards eventually quitting. And we know that is hard. We know that is difficult. That is, quote unquote, it's an addiction, and it takes several quit attempts in order to be successful. However, in addition to that, when I was talking about the environment making it difficult to make this behavior change, when we look in our community, we see an abundance of tobacco advertising marketed in our community, and the brand of choice is menthol. Menthol tobacco is easier to inhale. It's easier, to for it to go down smoother, and also it's more addictive. It's harder to quit. So I'm just going to share. I'm going to ask our extraordinaire engineer if they can play a quick video, short video, commercial. One of the things that we've been promoting in the community. I want to talk a little bit about afterwards. So do we have that video ready? Do we have it queued up? Thank you so much.
Menthol is not just in communities. It's aggressively marketed in Black communities. It's not just addicting. It's specifically addicting African Americans at higher rates. It's not just a flavor. It's a manipulative way for big tobacco to target us. And it's not just an injustice. It's killing us. Smoking-related illnesses are the #1 cause of death in the African American community. And there's nothing just about it.
So thank you. So when we're embarking, we're coming up on the Great American Smokeout, which is November 18th, this year, and we're asking people to stop smoking that day or to make a quit attempt. You can start now, leading up, to November 18th, to start cutting down or what have you. And also, once again, not only think about the impact that it has upon you, but also exposure to secondhand smoke as well. As in to you, your family, your friends, to children, who also, are exposed, to, smoking, and then they have related illnesses surrounding asthma or ear infections and things of that nature. So, once again, knowledge is power. Knowledge is information that hopefully, we can utilize to improve, our lifestyle, our better way of life of living, and it's just something to think about as we move forward, with these holidays, upon us, So I just wanted to make that connection in terms of tobacco and diabetes. And if you have any further questions, you can contact me at smartin@caiglobal.org, or you can go to our website, or see us on Facebook, at Reach Buffalo, to find out more information. So I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank you all for joining us and spending this time with us today. And we look forward to seeing you on the other side. Any closing remarks or thoughts or questions, Ebony?
Think about your family members who are living with diabetes. Take care of them. Be good to them. They'll be good to you. See your doctor. Take your medication. Stay active. Take care of your feet. And guess what? We'll see you next time here on Reach. It gets better. We'll do it together. Thank you all. Thanks, man.
Thank you all. And get vaccinated. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. Do it for your community. Take care.
Reach Buffalo, promoting a healthy community. Reach, racial and ethnic approaches to community health locally in Buffalo to reduce racial and ethnic health disparities and rates of chronic disease. We want to make a change by reducing exposure to tobacco in housing and work areas, by increasing access to nutritious foods, by creating a breastfeeding community, by increasing referrals to primary care and community health providers, and by implementing community work groups. Reach Buffalo will concentrate on Ferry Street itself, as well as a community that resides within 4 blocks to the north and south of the corridor in 5 zip code areas: 14208, 14209, 14211, 14213, and 14215 in Buffalo, New York, with disparities in rates of chronic disease. Get involved. Ferry area residents will have an opportunity to have a platform to voice their opinions, organize, and make decisions in these efforts. For more information, you can contact Ebony M. White, Community Outreach Coordinator, at 716-268-2954.